Within this context, if I may, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about the work that we did at Politecnico di Milano. Obviously, we were, and we are not, the only university research center working on this topic, and you can find several pointers to other very interesting work in the extra materials. But I'd like to give you a better understanding on the reason why I'm here teaching you. I'm going to do this by following the same history I presented you from Xilinx. Back at the beginning of this century, around 2000-2002, Xilinx was working, as I said, at two tools, ISC and ADK. These tools were great, but they were at their very beginning. Therefore, it was the right time to start to work to fill some of the gaps left by them. First of all, there was a productivity gap. Complexity growth rate, around 58% per year, versus productivity growth rate, 21% per year. This means that the FPGAs were growing in complexity, and that this was expected to be translated into opportunities that unfortunately were not fully taken. Moreover, reconfigurable systems, while providing new interesting features in the field of hardware software co-design, and more in general in system design, also introduced new problems in their implementation and management. This was particularly true for systems that implement self-partial reconfiguration, such as the Xilinx platforms. Now, within this context, what we did with the DRESD research group in Milano was, we were among the first in using EDK to implement a partial dynamic reconfigurable Linux-based system. We defined a complete design flow, brain to bit, to process a specification to make it suitable for reconfigurable implementation. We defined and implemented a new generation, we call them current architectures, of self-reconfigurable architecture based on Linux. We increased the reconfiguration performance via novel techniques, such as the runtime reconfigurable core relocation and the reconfigurable cores identification. The specific contribution of the DRESD design flow can be summarized in the following. The definition of a complete design flow that was taking also the runtime into consideration. The automatic IP core design from a given functionality. This can be considered useless today, but back to those days, there were not yet automatic IP integration tools, and our framework was exactly filling this gap by creating an IP core starting from the original IP and the information on the desired communication infrastructure. And finally, the runtime support to manage the needs of a partial dynamic reconfigurable systems. Just to give you an idea, we were able to provide support for the runtime bitstream relocations, and we were the first in defining a 2D relocation filter.